I love telling this story, so thank you for the opportunity. When I was growing up, what usually surprises most people that know about book thinkers is that I was not much of a reader. Growing up, I was more of the athlete stereotype, not much of the academic. And so I was always the capable student. I took AP classes, but I was famous for having a 0% homework average in AP calculus, right? So that's who I was in high school. And I carried a lot of that same energy with me into college. But when I was in college, I became fascinated by money and the idea of earning money when I graduated. So I took this internship going into my senior year of college at a local software company. It was a sales internship. And my boss at the time, Kyle, would bring me on these local sales trips. And we'd be in the car sometimes for a couple of hours together. In fact, we came to New York City a couple of times from Boston, just to show you how much time we spent in the car. And he would get sick and tired of listening to me, tell him how great I was. And so he would say, "Hey, Nick, can we put on some business podcasts?" And so I said, sure, as if I'd listened to them all the time. I'd never listened to them, but I said, sure, I wanted to be cool. And so he would play these long episodes where people would show up and they would talk about what they did to become successful. And as I continued listening to them, both with my boss, Kyle, but also independently as I would commute to and from work, I noticed that so many of these successful people in many different disciplines would give at least some credit for their success to the books that they had read. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the personal development and business classics continued to pop up over and over and over again. And so I was faced with this question one day of, if all of these brilliant people who are making a lot of money, which is what I was interested in at the time, if they're all giving credit to books, but I'm not a reader and I don't think reading is cool, am I missing the boat here? And I recognized that I was. So I went to my local Barnes & Noble. I grabbed about 10 books, which was a lot of money for me to spend at the time, $20 to $25 a piece. And I went back to the office and I fell in love with reading as a form of personal development, as a way to solve a problem or build a skill or diversify a perspective or live up to my potential. And as I fell in love with reading, my friends and family encouraged me to start sharing the books I was reading on social media. They were tired of hearing me talk about them. And so it was both an opportunity to express my creativity, but it was also an opportunity to find a community of like-minded people. There had to be other people on planet Earth who loved reading and implementing personal development content. So to fast forward a little bit, I continued pouring some energy into these book reviews. It was like a blog style thing. And as my audience got bigger and bigger, I had authors knocking on my door virtually, asking if I could help promote and market their books. And so I started Book Thinkers as a book review platform, kind of. And it was the greatest side hustle on the planet, getting paid from the world's smartest people to read and implement material from their books. I mean, who wouldn't love that, especially a book reader like me? I mean, that was a big part of my identity. And so fast forwarding a little bit more, we started offering other services to authors. We'd fly out and help them film content. We would interview them for our podcast. And so to bring it to your point, we were out in LA and I still had my full-time software sales job. I'm a couple of years out of college now. I'm making a good amount of money because I read and implemented a lot of sales books, breaking company records. The company I'm working for was acquired by multiple VCs, so more responsibility, leading a sales team. Life is good, but I'm not happy. What really brings me energy is this Book Thinkers side hustle that I have. Now, my side hustle, Book Thinkers, already had a couple of full-time people in it. I was earning money through my full-time job and then using that money to build infrastructure in my side hustle. So we're out in Los Angeles one day, and in the morning, I filmed content at Steven Pressfield's house. And for those in the audience that aren't familiar with Steven, he's the best-selling author of some nonfiction works on creativity, like The War of Art, but also some fictional books like The Legend of Bagger Vance, which got turned into a movie featuring Will Smith and Matt Damon. I mean, how cool is that as an author? Then I actually go do a podcast, and then I go to Lewis Howes, his studio. And we're in his studio for the rest of the day filming podcast content, and he invites some guests by, and it's just the best day ever. So that evening, I'm back at my hotel with a team member. His name is Luke. And we're walking around this little area because we're both doing the 75 hard program and we needed to get some outdoor workouts done. And so we're walking around this area and we're on the 4th or 5th or 6th lap around this little complex outside of the hotel. And I tell Luke, I say, man, I would love to do this full time, but I just need a sign or something from the universe. And I look down and there's a penny, heads up, right in the middle of the walkway. How could you miss it? That was my sign because earlier in the day, that morning, when I was filming the interview with Stephen Pressfield, he was talking about how he's always been superstitious, about how he's always looked for signs from the universe. And in that interview, he said if he ever finds a penny that's heads up on the ground, he knows it's about to be a great day. It's a little nudge from the universe saying, hey, you're on the right path. And so I looked down at that penny and Luke looked at me and I said, I'm quitting my job on Monday. And I went back to the office. I quit my job on Monday and I went full time into Book Thinkers. And to wrap up the story, the following month, we doubled our revenue, not because of the additional time that I was putting into the business, but I believe it was just confirmation from the universe that I had made the big, bold decision and that it was the right one. And so that's how I ended up in the business full time.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh my God. I think everybody is going to be looking for a penny on the floor after this, right?
I still look for them. Money is abundant. Nobody's too good to pick up a penny.
Amazing, amazing.